OnePlus has officially brought a 165Hz gaming display into its flagship lineup, and honestly, I didn't think we'd see it this early. This is the brand new OnePlus Ace 6T, which will launch globally as the OnePlus 15R on December 17. The moment you see the T badge, you know you're looking at their performance-focused flagship. And yes, this phone debuts Qualcomm's newest powerhouse, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. On top of that, it packs a massive 8300 mAh battery and that ultra-smooth 165Hz refresh rate. At this point, it's clear OnePlus is ready to make big batteries and 165Hz the new normal. In today's video, we're going to dive into what it's actually like using the OnePlus Ace 6T, also known as the OnePlus 15R. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Mickey from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. This year, Qualcomm has released so many processors that the naming alone can get confusing. You've got Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, Snapdragon 8 Elite, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, all kinds of combinations. If you're not constantly following phone news, it's enough to make your head spin. So here's the short version. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 sits at the top. Last year's flagship was Snapdragon 8 Elite. The new Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 actually comes from the same family as the Elite Gen 5. Both are built on TSMC's 3rd Gen 3nm process with identical CPU and GPU architecture. Even the RAM and Arduino slicing system follow the same flagship-grade design. Think of them as twin brothers. Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 is essentially Qualcomm's second flagship chipset this year. So the big question is, how does it compare with last year's Snapdragon 8 Elite? Let's find out by jumping straight into gaming performance on the OnePlus Ace 6T. We tested at 25 degrees Celsius room temperature, 350 nit locked screen brightness, and Wi-Fi enabled. Starting with a warm-up round in honor of Kings, max settings at 120 FPS pose absolutely no challenge. The Ace 6T holds a near-perfect 0.4% frame drop rate at an average of 109.7 fps. Power consumption is 3.43 watts, similar to iQOO Neo 11 at 3.45 watts, and slightly higher than Redmi K90 Poco F9 Pro at 3.112 watts. The body temperature reaches 39.4 degrees, warmer than Redmi, cooler than iQOO, and overall very solid. In lighter games like this, the performance gap between Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 and 8 Elite is almost invisible. Let's move to the radar chart. This is our custom metric that visually shows the overall gaming capability of a phone. Higher score equals better gaming experience. You can check these charts anytime on the Samigny database applet. In honor of Kings, the OnePlus Ace 6T earns 7 S-level ratings thanks to its extremely stable frame rate, meaning it pushes performance harder than the competition. The trade-off is slightly higher power usage, so its frame per watt score lands at eye level. Total score, 86 points. Redmi K90 scores 88 with all 8 indicators reaching S level. iQOO Neo 11 scores 84. Overall, all 3 sit in the top tier. Next up is PUBG Mobile at HDR plus 120 FPS. Here, the OnePlus Ace 6T performs exceptionally well. Its frame graph is basically a straight line, scoring 102.7 by our metric. The body stays at just 39.3 degrees Celsius, 0.8 degrees Celsius cooler than Redmi and iQOO, and the only phone that's at 40 degrees Celsius. It grabs 6 S levels and 2 eye levels for a total of 84 points, beating Redmi's 81 and iQOO's 78. If 120 or 140 FPS still isn't enough for you, the Ace 6T also unlocks PUBG Mobile's 165 FPS mode. In FPS games, a higher frame rate means faster reactions, quicker advantage, and higher win rate. After 30 minutes, it stays rock solid at 164 FPS with a standard deviation of 1.1. Body heat hits 44.2 degrees Celsius. Honestly, it's a beast for PUBG, an absolute chicken dinner machine. Delta operation also supports 165 FPS on the Ace 6T. After 30 minutes, it still runs perfectly straight with a 164.8 FPS average and a standard deviation of -0.5. Power draw is 5.5 watts and temperature reaches 45 degrees Celsius. Brightness never dips. Gameplay feels fantastic. Now for Genshin Impact, NATA region battle test. The OnePlus Ace 6T averages 59.9 FPS with a 0.6 standard deviation. Its frame consistency and power efficiency beat the Redmi K90. Total power draw is 5.48 watts and and surface temperature stays at 43.1 degrees Celsius, 1.1 degrees cooler than the K90. Since the Ace 6T still runs Genshin using OpenGL by default, it doesn't generate a comparable radar chart. At 1.5K resolution with 120 FPS via Super Resolution plus Super Frame Enhancement, the clarity and frame cap jump higher. Running floor 11 and 12 of the Spiral Abyss continuously for 30 minutes, the Ace 6T stays incredibly stable at 119 FPS average with a minimum of 110 FPS and less than 1 point of variance. The big core stays mostly locked at 0.55 GHz, while efficiency cores adjust dynamically. Power draw is 5.9 watts and the device warms to 44.6 degrees Celsius. Gameplay feels smooth and consistent. Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 really shines in low to mid-load titles. But now let's push it with two heavy hitters, Ming Dynasty and Bengti. With 763p render resolution and identical settings across devices, the Ace 6T averages 59.5 FPS with a 1.1 standard deviation. It's the only phone with more than 31% of frames above 60 FPA. Power draw is 5.93 watts. Temperature peaks at 45.2 degrees with zero brightness drop. It uses 0.64 watts less power than iQOO Neo 11 and stays 1.1 degrees cooler than Redmi and 2.6 degrees cooler than iQOO. On the radar chart, the Ace 6T delivers 4 S levels and 2 A levels for a total score of 54.2, higher than Redmi K90's 51.65 and iQOO Neo 11's 47. Alright, let's move on to Ming Dynasty. Recently, the game switched off Vercam and reverted back to the older OpenGL engine, which unfortunately bumped up power consumption and made gameplay feel a bit choppier. Because of that, the radar chart score isn't available for now. But based on actual testing with extremely high graphics at 60 FPS, the OnePlus Ace 6T holds an average of 58.9 FPS with a 1.3% deviation, and 34.1% of its frames fall within the minor drop range. Its frame rate stability is on par with the iQOO Neo 11 and noticeably smoother than the Redmi K90. The lowest dip we saw was 49 FPS. However, since the Ace 6T maintains a steadier frame rate and higher screen brightness, it naturally runs warmer and consumes more power. After checking this many games, the overall performance picture becomes clear. Powered by the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, the OnePlus Ace 6T unleashes impressive strength. With the help of the upgraded Peak Game Core, it even surpasses last year's Snapdragon 8 Elite in certain scenarios. Its performance and efficiency genuinely feel flagship grade, exactly what its product positioning suggests. And the hardware advantage doesn't stop there. Thanks to the 165Hz panel, games like PUBG Mobile, Delta Ops, Dark Zone Breakout, QQ Speed, and others can hold high frame rates with fast response times, making the Ace 6T one of the best gaming experiences you can get in this category. Beyond the chipset, OnePlus has added the Linksy Touch chip and its self-developed G2 eSports network chip to enhance touch precision and improve network stability during gameplay. On the software side, the new Peak Game Core deeply optimizes a wide range of 165 FPS titles. Even everyday apps like WeChat, Weibo, and Xiaohongshu support 165 FPS for ultra-smooth scrolling. Battery life is another major highlight. The OnePlus Ace 6T packs an 8300 mAh Glacier battery, currently the largest in OnePlus's entire history. Not only does it break previous records, it also pushes the limits of what a high-performance flagship battery can be. So how does it actually last? Using our updated 5.1 full battery life model test, the Ace 6T ran from 100% to full shutdown for an impressive 8 hours and 46 minutes. Out of 149 devices tested in the 5.1 rankings, it claimed the #1 spot. And as we know, great battery life requires 3 things: a large battery, a power-efficient chipset, and strong system optimization. The Ace 6T checks all 3 boxes. Breaking down the power consumption, background WeChat multi-person chat used 8%, screen recording 10%, Weibo 6%, PUBG Mobile 13%, Honor of Kings 11%, Douyin 6%, and Bilibili 10%. After all these tasks, the Phil had 36% remaining, the highest end-of-test power left among all devices. Charging is equally solid. The Ace 6T supports 100 watts wired charging with a single-cell design and pass-through power. Using the original charger at 25 degrees room temperature, it reached 25% in 10 minutes. A full charge took 55 minutes, with the last 11 minutes handling trickle charging. Average charging power was 37 watts, storing a total of 35.8 watt-hour, which is impressive given the massive 8300 mAh battery. The phone stayed cool too, topping out at 40.5 degrees Celsius. In our third-party charger compatibility test, the Ace 6T supported 36-watt PD and 55-watt PPS charging with multiple popular chargers from Huawei, Vivo, Nubia, Lenovo, Anker, and more. With these, it consistently pulled 30 to 40 watt, placing its compatibility in the upper mid-range, much improved over previous OnePlus models. Now let's talk design. On the back, The phone has a rounded rectangular metal camera module in the upper left corner. It's compact and doesn't interfere with holding the phone. The color options, flickering black, electro-optic silver, and filter green, are all low-saturation matte finishes that resist fingerprints. The purple variant uses a fiberglass back, while black and green use glass. The midframe is made of matte metal, matching each colorway, giving the overall build a premium feel that lives up to OnePlus standards. The phone is 77mm wide. The black and green versions are 8.3mm thick and weigh 216 to 207 grams, while the silver version is thinner at 8.1mm and weighs 211 grams. It supports IP66, IP68, and IP69 ratings, offering strong dust and water protection. On the front, you get a 6.8-inch LTPS OLED flat display with a 165Hz refresh rate and subtle, rounded corners. It features OnePlus's self-developed Display P3 chip, 3D ultrasonic fingerprint unlocking, Rain Touch 2.0, and full directional crosstalk control. Peak brightness hits 833 nits for manual use and goes beyond 1900 nits in full screen excitation, placing it in flagship territory. For eye comfort, the display uses 3840Hz PWM dimming at low brightness and DC dimming at medium to high brightness, combined with hardware-level blue light protection. If you hold the phone too close for too long, the system will remind you to maintain a healthy viewing distance and blink more often. Protecting your eyes isn't just about the screen, it's also about habits. There's also a limited edition Shenli Lingua custom variant that comes in a soft light blue color. Everything, from the box to the phone, charger, cable, and system theme, features character-inspired design elements. It even includes a character figurine and stand. If you're a fan of Yunshen or Shenli Lingua, this edition is worth checking out. The camera setup includes a 16-megapixel front shooter and a 50-megapixel main camera using the same IMX906 sensor found in flagship devices, along with Oppo's flagship ultralight imaging algorithms. This combination is standard for phones in its price range. The OnePlus Ace 6T runs ColorOS 16 out of the box, with support for 3 major version updates over 4 years. We've already covered ColorOS 16 in detail in our OnePlus 15 review. It's buttery smooth, feature-packed, and includes a range of practical system-level AR tools. For gamers, OnePlus includes a dedicated AR lab with features like Genshin Impact auto-looting, auto-material pickup, auto-skill execution, map locking, and more. You also get game screen projection, silent launch, a game camera, and several other handy tools designed to enhance everyday gameplay. ColorOS 16 has earned a strong user rating of 9.3 from over 4,100 users on Xiaolu. It also introduces a new content portal feature. Long press in any third-party app, swipe up, and you can instantly extract text or images to share in documents, DMs, notes, and more, making cross-app sharing effortless. The new lock screen also allows free resizing of the themed clock, giving users more customization options. So after everything we've seen today, I think the conclusion is pretty clear. You don't need to worry about the performance or efficiency of Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. Our tests show that it delivers flagship-level results. Pair that with the Ace T's 165Hz display, huge 8300 mAh battery, 100-watt charging, 3D ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, full dust and water resistance, metal midframe, and overall premium configuration, and you're looking at an incredibly strong flagship competitor in its segment. That's all for this video. Before we wrap up, the base model price of the OnePlus Ace 6T or OnePlus 15R globally starts at 23,399 yuan in China, which converts to roughly 255 pounds in the UK, or around $340 US. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.